Mexican folklore is rich with legends that have shaped the country's cultural identity, but few stories are as haunting and universally recognized as that of La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman. The tale of La Llorona has been passed down for generations, both as a moral lesson and a ghostly warning. Rooted in themes of love, betrayal, and regret, this story not only provides a lens into the complexities of human emotion, but also highlights the broader cultural values that have persisted in Mexican society for centuries. While various interpretations of the legend exist, the core elements remain consistent. A woman drowns her children and is condemned to eternally search for them, her cries echoing through the night. Join us as we explore the origins of the La Llorona myth, its variations, its cultural significance, and its enduring impact on modern Mexican culture. The legend of La Llorona has been told across Mexico for centuries, though the story's exact origins are difficult to pinpoint. Many believe that the tale predates the Spanish colonization of the Americas, suggesting that it may have roots in indigenous mythology. One possible precursor to La Llorona is the Aztec goddess Xihuacoatl, the Serpent Woman, who is said to have appeared dressed in white, weeping for her lost children. As the Spanish colonized Mexico in the 16th century, they likely blended indigenous myths with European folklore, creating the version of La Llorona that is commonly known today. The central narrative of La Llorona tells the story of a woman named Maria, who falls in love with a wealthy man, marries him, and bears him children. However, their happiness is short-lived, as her husband eventually abandons her for another woman. Overcome with grief, jealousy, and madness, Maria drowns her children in a nearby river. When she realizes what she has done, she is filled with remorse and plunges into the water to join them. But instead of being reunited with her children, she is condemned to wander the earth for eternity, searching for them and weeping in despair. This version of the story, with its themes of betrayal, guilt, and maternal sorrow, resonates deeply with the cultural and religious values that have shaped Mexican society, particularly the Catholic emphasis on redemption and punishment for sin. Yet, beyond its theological underpinnings, the tale of La Llorona reflects profound human emotions that transcend any one culture. Variations of the legend. Though the story of La Llorona remains relatively consistent across regions, there are various adaptations of the legend that reflect the unique cultural dynamics of different communities in Mexico and across Latin America. In some versions, Maria is depicted as a humble peasant who falls in love with a wealthy Spaniard. Her initial joy at winning his affection turns into tragedy when he abandons her to marry a woman of his own class. This version emphasizes the class divides that were prevalent during colonial times and suggests that Maria's fate was sealed the moment she attempted to bridge the gap between the lower class and the elite. In other versions, Maria's transformation into La Llorona is not immediate. Instead, after drowning her children, she searches for them in a state of madness, unaware of the crime she has committed. When she finally realizes her actions, her grief is so profound that she dies of heartbreak, leading to her eternal curse. Some variations suggest that La Llorona is not just a vengeful spirit, but also a figure of justice, punishing those who neglect or mistreat their children. This interpretation positions her as both a cautionary figure and a protector of innocence. In these stories, La Llorona is less a tragic figure and more an avenging force, which shifts the focus from her personal sorrow to the consequences of parental neglect. While La Llorona is most commonly associated with rivers and lakes, in some regions, her spirit is said to wander desolate streets and dark alleys, forever searching for her lost children. The adaptability of her story has allowed it to endure for centuries, becoming an integral part of Mexican and Latin American culture. La Llorona is more than just a ghost story told to scare children into behaving. The legend serves multiple cultural and psychological functions, offering insight into familial roles, social expectations, and the consequences of emotional turmoil. The figure of La Llorona represents the archetypal bad mother, a woman who defies her natural role as a nurturer by harming the very children she was supposed to protect. In this sense, the legend reflects deep-seated anxieties about motherhood, guilt, and the responsibilities of parenthood. At the same time, the story of La Llorona is also one of profound grief and repentance. Her eternal wandering serves as a metaphor for unresolved sorrow and the search for redemption. The fact that La Llorona is a female figure adds another layer to the story, reflecting societal expectations of women as caregivers and the severe judgment that falls upon them when they fail to meet these expectations. From a broader perspective, La Llorona can also be viewed as a symbol of cultural resistance. The blending of indigenous and colonial elements in the story points to the ways in which native Mexican culture has persisted and adapted in the face of colonization. The legend represents the resilience of Mexican identity, with La Llorona embodying both the sorrows and strength of a people who have endured loss and tragedy throughout their history. Moreover, La Llorona has transcended its traditional boundaries, finding a place in modern Mexican popular culture, literature, and cinema. In recent decades, the legend has been the subject of countless books, films, and TV shows, both in Mexico and abroad. These modern adaptations often reframe La Llorona as a more complex character, exploring themes of trauma, gender roles, and societal pressures. In modern times, the legend of La Llorona continues to resonate, not just as a piece of folklore, but as a symbol of emotional depth and human complexity. Her cries can be interpreted as the embodiment of sorrow and regret, emotions that are universal. Across Mexico and Latin America, her story is still told to children as a warning to stay away from dangerous waters, but it also serves as a reminder of the potential consequences of uncontrolled grief and desperation. The story's adaptability to modern media has only strengthened its reach. Films like The Curse of La Llorona, 2019, have brought the legend to global audiences, albeit with Hollywood's characteristic embellishments. Meanwhile, Latin American filmmakers, writers, and artists continue to reinterpret La Llorona, using her story as a vehicle to discuss issues such as motherhood, colonization, and cultural identity. The legend of La Llorona endures as one of Mexico's most poignant and haunting folktales, blending themes of love, betrayal, and grief into a narrative that transcends time and culture. Its origins in indigenous mythology, its evolution through colonialism, and its relevance in modern media demonstrate the story's flexibility and depth. Whether viewed as a moral cautionary tale, a symbol of maternal sorrow, or a figure of cultural resistance, La Llorona remains a powerful part of Mexican folklore that continues to captivate and terrify audiences worldwide. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy true crime stories and chilling unsolved mysteries, folklore, and spine-tingling stories, please be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button for more content.